Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Avini Vibes. My name is Christine Rolando, co-host Carol Witt, always here to help and support the technology piece of this. And we're very, very grateful to be here on April 17th, 2025. Hope you all did your taxes and got those done and filed. So that's beyond us. So now we'll move forward into a really, really brilliant year, moving into our second quarter, Q2 coming up. But we're blessed to have the most amazing products, the amazing leadership in the company, second to none. That is basically we're changing lives. Eddie always says it's not a supplemental company. We're taking the bad out and we're making way for the good. And if you're here tonight, I want to applaud you because you're one of the best and the brightest for sure to join us because that's what Avini attracts. Smart people. I've always, you meet so many people that are so brilliant in their field. Some of the people come to Avini come because maybe they have something going on in their bodies and they're smart enough to look outside the box and find the best products that are going to help their own ailment or again help a family member. And here at Avini Vibes, we're here to support and educate, and we do not make any medical claims and we do not diagnose or treat. We're here to educate and learn and support one another as you share Avini products. And we say the best zeolite on the planet. We got again the best biochemists and the smartest biochemists on planet Earth. So we're blessed again to be here. Dr. Nikita, thank you for always being with us. Chip Littlejohn, scientific research team. I know he's at the home office, so hopefully he will be joining us shortly. And we're going to, again, just offer up the opportunity for when we get to testimonial time or you get to a question time, just go ahead and raise your physical hand or put up your reaction down at the bottom and we'll get to you. I want to applaud somebody new tonight, Lisa D. Lisa D is not new to the health and wellness field. I've known Lisa for 25 years, maybe more, but she knows her nutrition. She knows her gut health. Her own personal story is amazing, how she took the bull by the horns 25, 30 years ago with her own health. But Lisa was bold enough today to do a lunch and learn. And she shared with me, she says, you do the presentation initially. And she watched Doug Dickey do it. And I said, no, Lisa, you do it. And she did a brilliant job today. Although we had technical problems, guess what? We always roll with the punches. And Lisa, congratulations of being a leader, a new leader right up here in New York, but again, not new to health and wellness. She's well respected in her field. So welcome to Lisa and welcome to all of our guests tonight. Where am I? Okay, so we said no medical claims, but remember, if you have a question, you can describe what's going on if with that issue in the best of your ability, and we'll help and support you. Chip Littlejohn, there he is, a scientific research team with Avini, a brilliant, brilliant man. So thank you, Chip, for being with us. Tonight, we're going to do something special. Tonight, we're going to try to do a presentation without the man on camera. But because he chose, I won't blow the story, but Doc Carter's with us tonight, and Doc Carter is going to share a little bit of his story and about he got introduced to Avini and why he does Avini. You heard Alan Way last week if you were on as a guest or here as a guest listening. So Alan and Doc, thank you again for being here. But Doc, please unmute yourself, and we'd like to hear from you tonight and share a little bit about your journey and about these amazing products. Thank you, Doc.
All right, Christine. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to talk about Avini. And I know for a fact there's lots and lots of more qualified people you could find. But I am more than excited to share about Avini, and I want to go over how I got started, why I got started, what I've experienced, what I've seen, what I've heard, and what my plan is going forward. And it's really quite simple. Things I'm going to be going over is the Avini products don't care. They have no conscience. They just work. And I'm going to explain a metaphorical ball pen hammer that has the round circle on the end and a simple 3-step process that I think a person can employ without having a PhD in medicine, without having any doctoral degree, or any working knowledge of how the body processes and what it goes through to be successful in Avini. Because let's face it, most of us probably don't have that. This can be a daunting looking task to try to provide something health-wise when we know nothing about it ourselves. So my story started in September of 23 when Alan Way called me. I've known him for 30 years. I know he's an honest man, and that goes a long way. And he told me what the Avini products had done for his wife, who had stage 3 problems. He started telling me about Ed Kowalski, his friend, and he had stage 3 problems, and they're both gone. And I stopped him in mid-sentence and said, Alan, I've worked 37 years for the railroad. 36 years I've run my own pizza shop. I'm tired. There ain't nothing that you're going to say or do that's going to cause me to do any work or get in any business. But I'm not a rude person. I want to hear everything you've got to say. But I don't have anything like that wrong with me right now. And he said one line that caused me to get in Avini. And it may be just one thing that you say to a prospect that can turn everything around. He said, would you like to be on a maintenance dose of what helped Ed and what helped my wife? And the best way for you to get those products is to sign up, get a good deal on the products, and order them off yourself. I said, Alan, I don't believe that it helped Barbara. I know it did because you're telling me it did. So I proceeded to ask him, what pack do I need to order? And he said the $4.99 pack. So I ordered a $4.99 pack. I said, what's Barbara taking? He said, Cell Defender and mushrooms. When my pack come in, I called out the Cell Defender, called out the mushrooms, took them faithfully for 13 months. Every couple of months, I'd order what I needed. Nobody said anything to me. Nobody bothered me. I had my own website. I couldn't feel that it was doing a whole lot. When I joined Avini, I needed to lose 90 pounds. But in them 13 months, I noticed I'd lost 10 or 15 pounds, and I did feel a little better. And one night, my arthritic thumb locked up. I couldn't hold a cup of water. And I remembered that Alan told me there was something in there for pain. So I called. I said, Alan, what can I do for my thumb? He said, oh, plus relief. I didn't know what plus relief. I said, hold on a minute. I had put that box away with all them powders and gels and capsules and whatever they were. I dug into that thing. I said, here's a big blue bottle. It says silver. Nope, that ain't it. So I found the Plus Relief gel. I rubbed it on my thumb. And I promise you, I couldn't pick a cup of water up. In 2 minutes, my thumb had no pain. So I go upstairs to tell my wife, and she is laying with the lights off and dimmed with an ice pack on her head. She has severe migraines about 2 nights, 3 nights a week, and they last 4 to 6 hours. I said, here, let me rub this on your temples. I went to the Keurig coffee machine, and I brewed a cup. As I passed by her, she said, my headache is gone. So I go downstairs, I pick up the phone, and I said, Alan, I've never lied to you before, but I have this time. I said, I'm ready. Let's go. Tell me about Avini. I'm ready. Let's go. And I proceeded to try Plus Relief on 4 or 5 other people. And it worked every single time. So I started my business on Plus Relief and a testimony from my friend Alan about his wife. Now, I had 2 other issues in my life that were bad. You know that sweet disease that we get, that we have tests for every 3 months? Mine had been in double digits. They had me on 4 medications, one of them 10 years I took it. And I never could get it within anywhere near the spec. So they just kept increasing and increasing. And I had had 3 hip surgeries that went wrong. And I have hobbled on a walker and a cane for 2 years. And they told me I would never walk again without a cane. So I got with Doug Dickey, Chip Littlejohn. We need those people. Hey, I can't tell you how it works. I don't know how it works. I don't know what it does metabolically. The protons, the neutrons, the extrons, the ytrons, and the zetrons, I can't tell you. All I know is when I rub it on, it quit hurting. And I'm basing my business on that fact. So I started doing what Doug Dickey told me to my hip. Rub the Plus Relief on 4 times a day and take the spray every time you take the Cell Defender. And they told me to go on fiber and the new product, Trim Science. So I did. So I picked the phone up and boldly called my first prospect who lives in Florida. Friend of mine forever. My wife used to work for him. His wife run a pharmacy. He was a businessman. I started telling him, and he stopped me the same way that I stopped Alan Way. He's my friend. He can talk to me like that. And he said, you don't have to go no further. He said, I guarantee you, it's not approved by the FDA. I ain't taking that junk. There's probably 10 other companies that's got the same thing. And he went on for about 5 minutes, tell me how he felt. And when he got done, I said, I can only tell you one thing, and I'm going to tell you right now, and you know I'm not a liar. I rubbed this gel on my thumb, and it quit hurting. My wife rubbed it on her temples, and her migraine went away before I could brew a cup of coffee. My father-in-law had carpal tunnel pain from the tip of his finger to his elbow, put it all over his wrist and thumb, and in 3 minutes, the pain was gone. So I don't know about all this fraud you're talking about. What I got a hold of is real. Now let's talk about that imaginary ball peen hammer. I took it, turned it around to the small end, and hit him right smack between the eyes. Because I see what this stuff will do. I know what it'll do. And they ain't no amount of medical knowledge going to change the fact that my thumb quit hurting. Well, I didn't do any good that way. So I got in my car and struck out to my first person. Very good prospect. And I told him all the stories that I just told you. Come find out he had that sweet disease too, and they was starting him on medication. I told him I was starting on the Avini in hopes of getting rid of that medication. He said, let me know how that goes, but I'm far, far, far too busy to do anything like this. And you know, he's my friend. I can talk to him pretty blunt. I said, I want you to make me 2 promises. The first one, I need you to remember, whether it's a year, 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years, if you ever go to a doctor and that doctor says, I got some bad news, I want you to never forget this night, this special night that I drove to your house. And I said, I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of not. I said, listen, 2 years from now, when you're at somebody's house and you look over on their counter and you see a bottle of Cell Defender and a bottle of Plus Relief, and you say, you know, I think that's that same thing Doc Carter showed me 2 years ago. And that person said, you mean you don't have that on your shelf? Hey, that's in half the homes in Lawrence County because of that guy. When you see that, promise me you will not look back on tonight and regret your decision. If you won't regret your decision, and you promise to remember me if you ever have anything bad, why then, that's all I can ask, isn't it? So, if you've done your job presenting this, and that's my first two no's, if you've done your job presenting this, when you hit that red button on the phone, or when you see the taillights, when that guy sees the taillights round the last curve, if he will remember when he gets bad news, that conversation that you had on the phone or in his living room or kitchen. And if he has no, if he can remember that, then you've done your job. So I left knowing I had did my job. Now, I set up several meetings, several phone calls over the next ensuing month, mostly unsuccessful, but I knew I had done my job. I did meet with some success. And Alan and Ed, they had to put somebody somewhere. Got a couple of people put under me. And I found me a running buddy in North Carolina, Wayne Rednow. I signed up somebody local, Katrina Vargo. That's my hometown running buddy. It's important that you develop running buddies and be everything you can for these people. I mean everything, day or night. So I only had mild success, but I knew that if complicated questions came, I've got Chip, I've got Christine, I've got Ed, I've got Alan, and I've got Wayne that can answer just about any question I got. I don't have to be a medical genius when I've got help if I need it. But I want you to think back about why you got in Avini. Was it because the person that called you knew how the protons and the neutrons and the electrons and the zetrons work? Was it their vast knowledge that got you excited enough to join? Or was it a story they had to tell? Let me tell you something. I venture to say 75% of the people that enroll in this program is because of the belief that they see in the person that's presenting it to them. Three-way calls are wonderful if they're necessary. Even if you get Chip or Doug Dickey or Ed or Alan on the phone, that person has no relationship. They're going to join because of your belief. If they've got a question you don't understand, the three-way call is very important to know that we have help. And let me tell you something. I can watch a video and they could explain in depth how all of this process works. And if it's 30 minutes long, I'll wake up 25 minutes into it and say, wow, that had to be a good explanation. But let me tell you something. I can put a recording on and watch Stephanie Cook drive down the road with tears streaming down her eyes, telling me that Z-Munity has solved suicidal issues she's had since she's 12 years old. I can go to that app, which, by the way, don't cost me a dime, and see Linda B, with a name I can't pronounce, tell me that her 92-year-old father was given a few weeks to live, and months down the road, he's mowing the back 40. I promise you, I will not go to sleep. That's what gets me fired up. I do need to learn things, and the more you learn, the better you get. I need to learn what products to give people in what situation. I need to know how to suggest that. But I do not want to know what goes on inside my body to make that happen, for the fear that when I tell my next prospect Look at what a genius I am. I have figured this out, and that out, and this out, and that out. That's not why you got in this business. You got in this business because somebody told you a story. I promise you, most people join for that reason. And I've studied this out. I think that this is a simple 3-step progress, and you know you will be successful if you can do 3 things. And guess what? Rik Deitsch does one of them for you. The products must work. If they didn't work, ever how many people's on this call might as well leave now. But I promise you, based on what I've seen, what I've felt, and what I've heard, they work. Rik has done his job. And the second thing is, I got to believe it with every core that's in my body. You have got to believe it. Let me tell you something. The longer you do this, the more you'll believe. I look back on my first meetings and I don't regret them a bit. But let me tell you something. I went to the doctor 2 weeks ago, and he said, I don't know what you're doing, but you never have to take them 4 prescriptions as long as you keep doing what you're doing. In February, I set my cane in the corner, and I've never picked it up again. So let me tell you, when I come to your house now, I've got more to tell than I had when I first started. This gets easier and easier the longer you go. So the first step is Rik Deitsch does it. The second is you got to believe it, and you got to take the ball peen hammer, turn it around to the small end, and countersink it right between their eyes. Metaphorically, please. And let me tell you something. If they will remember, you have been there. If the tail lights leave, if the red buttons hit and they go, wow, that guy is onto something. You have done your job. It don't matter whether any individual says yes or no. You can just, all you have to do is step 3. Tell everybody you know. Let me tell you something. When you believe in this like I do, when you've seen what I've seen, I'm able to tell them about Alan's wife. I'm able to tell them about Ed. Now I'm able to tell them about me. I'm able to tell them about Katrina's dog. The last vet visit, you're going to have to make a decision. That dog's not long for this world. And she's pouring cell defender in that dog 2 times a day, and it's eating more than it did 3 years ago. Let me tell you something. When I come to your house now, I'm coming with the ball peen hammer. And the more I do it, the easier it gets. And it's to the point now, it's not something I dread to call a prospect. I owe it to them. When somebody sees me out in public and say, wouldn't you want a cane? Well, let me tell you about that. And by the way, I've lost 30 more pounds. I'm down 45 pounds. Wow. How'd you lose that weight? Well, let me tell you. It ain't my job to figure out if somebody needs to be told. They must be told. If you have any heart at all, you're going to tell people about this. Absolutely. Without a doubt, you're got to tell them about it. And when you get done, make sure that they never forget. And let me tell you something. This business is satisfying. If I sold Tupperware and I went and visited you 10 years later, and man, you grab that Tupperware bowl and it worked to perfection, I could say, I sold you that Tupperware bowl. I feel good about it. What are you going to see in 3 years if you tell everybody about this? What are you going to experience in 5 years? Let me tell you what you're going to experience. You're going to drive down the road. You're going to go by somebody's house, and some old man's going to be in a tractor and say, that man should be in a coffin. But the Lord has blessed me to share this opportunity, and that man is mowing the back 40. So let's review. Very simple. You don't have to be a medical genius to do this business. It's of my opinion and that I can do this business and have the most fun ever. Let me tell you something. I do something to advance Avini every single day of my life. I feel 10 years younger. So let's figure out, if you're out there and you just signed up and you say, this is too overwhelming. I can't sell medical supplies. I can't provide medical information. You don't have to. The products work. Rik does that for us. Rik Deitsch can turn up a cell defender, and I can turn up one and take 10 drops each. It's going to work for me just as good as it does for Rik. It's going to work for old people, young people, tall people, short people, fat people, skinny people. It don't matter. The products have no brain. The products don't care. That's what I told you in the beginning. They don't care. It's just my job to know that they do, and it's my job to feel I must tell everyone I see. I know that my thoughts are simple. I know that. I hope that I've underwhelmed you enough to realize that you can do this business, and I hope I've helped somebody. And Christine, I appreciate the opportunity to speak, and that's about all I got.
Oh, dear God, that was just beautiful. Doc, thank you. I mean, brought tears to my eyes,
Woohoo!
watching the expression on everybody's face. That was such a blessing and a charge for all of us. Where's Chip? Chip, come forth if you would. There he is. Chip, what do you want to
Well,
say to
I was sitting next to Marcy, and it was like sitting in the back pew of the church.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Tell them. It's like so.
I'm your biggest fan, Doc.
Me
We have a
too.
lot of fun with the Hillbilly Crew, and I love the way they talk and the way they make their points, and
But but
it's
there's
perfect.
no truth greater than the truth. And that's what Doc gave you tonight, the truth.
Yeah.
That's
So
for sure.
I don't think I need to add anything because adding would subtract in this case.
Yeah,
Yeah,
agreed.
I
Except I
agree.
can't help it.
It was fun to watch everybody's faces, though.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Alan Way. How many times did Alan Way come on here by himself?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he had a running buddy. And then all of a sudden his group starts taking off and he starts creating income. What a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I got to say, all these guys in their previous lifetimes had a network that took off for them, and they loved it. And they got jilted by their company, or the market went away, whatever happened. I think these guys were cell phone guys at one time, or phone guys. Network marketing could be credited for bringing the cost of phone calls out of your home area down to a reasonable level. And these guys are part of who did it. Okay.
Yeah.
And here they are. And the question is, if you loved your network and you love knowing the coolest, neatest stuff first and having something of great value to others, are you willing to love again? And they blurted out no to start out with, but then they thought again. They said, I truly do love a network if it's good, and Avini is good.
We're finding there are companies that have fallen recently. Several big companies have fallen recently. And why did they fail? Not because the products weren't good or whatever, but because the company failed. The company failed. We don't have that problem. Our company is the products. Our products are so solid, so amazing. For 16 years, I begged, pleaded, and made deals with God for this company.
Mm-hmm.
And he listens. And he listens. So.
Yeah.
He listened.
He spoke.
He listened. He spoke. I believe that this is my divine assignment.
Yeah.
We are so lucky.
Yeah, it's a great place to be. Great place to be. Thank you, everyone, for being interested and joining us and putting your effort and your talents and your people. You listen to
Your
Doc.
faith.
You can tell, when Doc and Wayne and Ed and Alan and Christine and
all of you,
Carol get on the phone, these long nights. I mean, they're having fun, right? They're having fun doing this. It's okay. This isn't some miserable thing you got to do. This is fun. This is awesome.
If you're sitting there and you're not participating, when Doc was talking, I was in every motion that he had. Every emotion he said. We're not seeing his face, but we are seeing your face. If you weren't clapping, if you weren't participating, if you weren't getting what he was saying, shame on you.
But you were.
Shame on you.
But you were.
We were seeing all the excitement, enthusiasm from each of you. And that's what you're bringing to people. You're bringing hope in a bottle. You're cascading that personal experience. Nothing happens with this product on a shelf anywhere. It could be on the best store. It could be in every department store or every drugstore everywhere in the country. It would not sell. The only thing that sells this product is the look on your face when you tell the story. The look on your face when you hear the story. The look on your face, the hope in your heart, the degree of commitment, the amount of faith you have in the product. Even if you're scared to death, you can't help but tell people when you see what happens. I have one I'm not going to hold this one. I'm going to share this one. You ready? I could turn my phone on, show you a picture of a baby laying in a hospital bed yesterday. That baby was told, his parents were told that he was vegetated state from a viral attack on the brain, right? I don't have to tell you what kind it was. I don't have to tell you any of that, but you all know
it wasn't moving, just laying.
It wasn't able to move. He wasn't able to move. The families all called in. Everything was a crisis. They put the baby on Cell Defender. Gee, you ever heard of that product? You ever heard of anybody tell a story about that product? Imagine, on my phone yesterday, I got a picture of that baby in the hospital. He was in ICU and had been in ICU. They told his family yesterday they were taking him out of ICU, and he was pulling tubes out and wiggling and kicking his feet and all the things that you would want that baby to do. Now tell me, you don't have somebody you have to call right now and tell them that story.
Looked like a regular kid except for a bunch of tubes running out.
Yep. And they were taking him out of ICU yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
God is amazing.
Yeah.
And he gifted you with this knowledge and this product. Don't tell me you don't know somebody. Don't tell me that everybody you know doesn't need to hear that story.
Wow. Yeah.
thank you, Marcy. Thank you, Chick. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah,
Really-
Christine, I just want to share something with Alan. Alan, how does it make you feel to know that you reached out to Doc and he was like the rock star tonight? Like, you reached out to him. If you hadn't shared this with him, he wouldn't have been here tonight, and we wouldn't have all been putting our hands up and clapping and sending hearts. And you shared something so important to him, and now he can't shut up about it. How does that make you feel, Alan?
I shared that with Doc a couple of years ago. It took it a while for it to take root. I share this story regularly with others, With some, it takes root. With some, it does not. It's their choice as to whether they want to uh, get better, use our products to help them get through life a little more easily, or not. And I can't get too emotional about what their choices are. I can only do what I'm supposed to do, and that's just tell it, not sell it. So that's what I do, and um, it's every day. Somewhere, somebody. I have a story. 2 days ago, a young man came to my door wanting to sell me something. I told him I'd already bought what he was asking me to consider, a different company, and his shoulders drooped. He felt defeated, and I said, "Would you like a bottle of water?" And he said, "Well, yes, I would." So I said, "I'll be right back." So I went to my refrigerator, got one dew still dripping off of it, and I took a bottle of water enhancer out there with it. I'm sorry, I did not use a Avini product. I forgot it at the moment because I was in a hurry. But I gave him something with some water enhancer with it and offered him an opportunity to sit down in a chair on my front porch. And he sat there. Long story short, it's a very long story from there, but he left there with another bottle in his pocket full of good water with some enhancer in it. And well, at one point he asked me, could he come inside and sit for a few minutes because he was kind of overheated. This is Florida. Some of you all may not realize that. But anyway, he was overheated a little bit, so I let him come in and sit on my couch, and we talked for a little while. And there's more to the story, but he left there wanting to know more. So I gave him a business card. I said, "You know where I live. You got my phone number. Call me if you need me." I didn't ask him for anything, and that was kind of the end of that part of it. But yes, I treat Doc is treating me now with his having come on our program tonight and told his story. It's a very compelling story. That's a true story, and you can't help but just love him for doing that. Everybody has a story. We have
Well,
to
thank you for sharing it with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the point. I think it is. It's kind of like a domino effect. And share with someone today. Dr. Nikita and I had a chat today about somebody that she's got that, like, we can't wait, right? We decided we can't wait. This is a woman that's caring for a lot of people, that it's life and death. And if they didn't share, what would be the outcome? So I just want to thank all of you for coming here tonight and sharing and listening and hearing Doc. I think that was the most remarkable story, Doc. Just, the 3 points that you gave. Eddie, I see your hand up, and then we'll let you go ahead and speak a moment. Eddie Kowalski, go ahead.
Yeah, just 1 minute, man. I was so proud of Doc. Doc sat still in park for probably a year, and it took one product, one conduit to get him to everything else that we have. And I thought he was amazing tonight. He breaks it down like nobody else can. And just a quick little story. I went to headquarters. I live 10 minutes from there to pick up product today. And Neil Roth was sitting there with Rik Deitsch in his office. And he was talking to me, and I said, "Yeah, I got it."
Just so you don't know, if you're a guest, that's our CEO.
Yeah, our CEO is sitting in there with our biochemist Rik Deitsch, and I walked in, and I didn't want to walk in. I walked in to get product, and I was getting ready to leave, and Rick's wife came out and said, "Hey, come in and say hi to Rik, and Neil's here." And so I went in there for a minute, and we talked about the business for about 15 minutes, and Rick's coming up to New Jersey to do his big event with Christine on the 25th or 26th. But the funny thing is, I brought up the Hillbillies. I affectionately call Alan, Doc, Wayne Redenauer, Ted Rittenhouse, the boys, or the Hillbillies, and Neil knows who you are, which is really cool.
That's right.
To hear Doc talk tonight, I mean, I could tell when he first started, and I told Christine before we even started this call, this is going to be one of the better calls we ever had. And I feel like tonight it was, and I hope it touched everybody the way that it touched me, because I got kind of emotional about it too. And I know Doc did, and if it gets in you, and our obligations is to just share it. We got nothing to lose, and everybody that we share it with has everything to gain. So, man, it was a great call. Thank you, Christine, Carol, everybody. It was awesome.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you so much.
One more tiny ad, if I could, Christine.
Sure.
Doc has a talent.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He can see the comp plan like few people can.
Yeah.
And it's just in him. He can see it. He can see the trends. He can see what needs to be done. He can see how to work it. He can see the structure and the strategy. And already one of the top people in the company when it comes to understanding and working the compensation plan. You don't have to be, just like you don't have to be a medical mind, you don't have to be a structure and strategy person, but you do need to have access to one.
Mm.
And he's one of them.
Yeah. And I'm happy to also remember, guys, everything you do is so it's so enhanced by the fact that when you get together, you share it with someone else. You're sharing your talents, you're sharing your ability, you're sharing that is a talent. It's a talent to tell that story Doc just told. It's a talent for him to discuss the comp plan. It's a talent for Christine to share with people. It's my goodness, what
Carol does
Carol
internationally.
Carol is so talented. We are blessed to have talented people here, and talented people are willing workers. We're all willing to share what talent we have with each other. I'm so proud of you. I just about busted my buttons. I couldn't stand it. I enjoyed every minute. And Doc, you know I love you very, very special. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Thank you for letting us be on. We are here for you. When you don't see us, it's not because we're not here. It's because we're helping somebody.
Thank you, Marcy. Thank you.
Christine,
Hey, I just wanted to mention one thing. If you're listening or you're new to this, or perhaps you've been around for a while and you've been sitting idle for a while, we want to hear your stories too. So reach out to me, reach out to your sponsor, let me know. We'd love to have you on. We're going to focus on, I want to just tell you, Carol, I'll get back to you 1 second.
Okay.
We're going to focus on next week. We're going to have 2 people from corporate coming up. I don't know which way they're going to fall. Mickey Dillon, our VP, was going to be a guest, and we're going to have Rik lined up. And then in May, thank goodness Priscilla, she's here. She's helping along too. We're going to focus our May is going to be all about fertility and those fertility issues. So May is fertility issues. Start thinking about people that you know, people that need to hear this. And then we're also going to focus on nurses, nurses in the field, nurses that are the primary caregivers, nurses that are really doing their job. So that's our upcoming May, but I want you to think about you personally. What do you have to share? What do you want to share?
When you do your fertility, call me. I'll ask me, and I will be absolutely happy to bring you 19 years of incredible birth rates.
Well, I told you I want to save you for May month for fertility. So that's why
that's great.
On next week. But Carol, go ahead, offer what you had to say.
Well, so what I wanted to do is I have a special guest on tonight. It's somebody that's been in my life for a very, very long time. And I wanted her to meet Ed because she is over by him. And she just got on Cell Defender. Linda, there you are. She just got on Cell Defender for a couple of days, and she's already seeing different energies. So I just really wanted to give her a chance to say hi to everyone. I have raved about this company, this family, and the products. Absolutely. So, and she's
Linda, unmute if you'd like.
Benefits. So, Linda, you want to come just say hi?
Boy, I'll tell you, you can't hide from her. Not at all.
Not.
Well, I'm glad to be here, listening to testimony. It's, I actually have been on for 3 days now, and I had a really ear infection and just wouldn't go away. I've been on medication, nothing's working, and I was just getting sicker and sicker. So I listened to Carol, and I purchased through her, and I've been on it, and I feel better. I can tell that it's working. I can tell. I won't tell you how I know these things, but I do know that it's working.
Where are you located, Linda?
I'm in Hollywood, Florida.
Okay. Well, I'm in Pompano.
Oh, okay. That's not far from here at all.
Not at all.
So
Yeah.
welcome, Linda. We're glad to hear your story. Thank you for sharing. It's only 3 days, so we can't wait to hear more. With that said, I just want to say all of you have a happy Easter. We'll see you next Thursday. We'll be here. And also remember to go out. Don't be shy. Be bold. Do what Doc said. What was that? Go hit him with what? What kind of tool?
Ball peen hammer.
A ball peen?
Imaginary.
I love imaginary. God bless you,
Right.
everyone. Happy Easter. See y'all next week.
Bye,
Great
everyone.
call. Can't wait to get it.
Good
Bye,
night.
everyone.
Happy Easter.
Good
Good
night, guys.
night.
Good night.
Happy Easter.
Good night, all.
Bye, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.